folks, and welcome back to the channel. We got something a little different for you here. We're bringing you some tournament coverage from a local event, the 20th annual Fairhope Jubilee at the Fairways of Fairhope. I am Dustin, Mouret, of course, and joining me is going to be JC Rowe, one of our competitors actually in the event, as you can see on the scoreboard.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. As you can see, Ben Fulford tore it up, 17 under par the first round, nearly 1,100 rated. But it's a pretty tight field after that, JC.
Yeah, it was very impressive from Ben. To see you got him as well as Sylus, Jerimie, Colin, and Chris. A bunch of local competitors.
Yeah, and Sylus, of course, being 14 years old, but incredibly talented, nearing that 1,000 rating. So expecting big things from him, of course, as we got Ben Fulford coming up first, the highest rated player in the tournament, and kind of the favorite now at the lead that he's got.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to catch him. You'll see here he's playing the most common play, just a forehand around the outside, skipping it right up to the basket, no problem.
Yeah, I think you'll probably see everyone throwing the forehand on this hole. And this is the one you really want to get, because I feel like the front 9, or the front 10 in this case, is definitely the harder scoring holes.
Yeah, a lot of these, as you saw Ben shot 17 down, they're all birdieable. So we'll see how these guys attack these holes. Everybody so far going with the forehand. Jerimie skipping up there in the circle.
Yeah, so far everybody on the dance floor. So Sylus now, I heard that this is his first time on coverage, and he was really excited about it. So as you can see, very talented.
Yeah, he's very enthusiastic about the game as well. Sponsored by Innova.
Yeah, now we got Colin Forehand, another regular here in the Southeast region that places pretty well on a regular basis. Yeah,
he leaks it a little inside, but gets a good kick off the tree roots.
Absolutely. There's like a little bench thing there actually next to the tree I think he hit. But as you said, got a little bit fortunate on that ground action as we see a rare forehand from Downey, but he is proficient with it and gets in a good spot and gets a great roll.
Definitely. So you see all these guys lining up their putts. Ben, I guess, going first, just being closest to the tee.
Oof, little right.
Yeah, you'll find that a lot of these baskets are older and you have those gaps in the high right corners. You'll see that a couple times probably throughout the round.
Good spin putt there from Downey. Will grab him his first birdie as he's, I guess, the lower end of the lead card, so definitely trying to gain strokes as quickly as he can to try to move up the leaderboard. As we got Colin here pretty much parked.
Yeah, easy enough. Unfortunate for Ben, the rest of these guys are probably just going to tap in for their twos.
Yeah, everyone well within the circle in this situation. Sylus going to be up next to putt here, looking to grab his birdie. So he's kind of neck and neck right now at Jerimie Gates.
Yeah, besides Ben, there is a pretty good battle going on from second to probably 10th place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much everybody within a stroke or so once you get past Ben in that top 10 as you're referring to, as we'll see plenty of birdies on this lead card, but Ben will tap out the par, so he'll give one away, but still has a sizable lead as we head into hole 4.
Yeah, hole 4, you have a wooded green. Most players are going to probably throw a turnover putter shot and hope to kind of sneak through around this cypress tree.
Jerimie Gates kind of just yanking that one on the little right, but centers at least.
You can tell he loved that shot.
Should be able to still scramble for par, though, since he kicked back into the open center position.
Yeah, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is pushing it inside and going into the rough over there. Sylus gets lucky and kicks out as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be scramble mode for those two players to try to save their par. Let's see if Colin can find the line. Appears so.
And sneaks around the trees, slides right up, probably about a 15-footer.
Yeah, definitely a great chance to grab birdie. Start trying to chase the top end of the leaderboard as we see. Didn't quite get the turn he wanted there from Downey. Kind of kicks left.
You got Ben lining up. I believe this is a Matteo PA4.
I think you might be right, or it could be the Burr PA3. I know he's been throwing that a lot as well and putting it. As this is pristine from Ben. Exactly what you want.
Yeah, good recovery from the last hole with an unfortunate spit out.
Yeah, pretty much all of these players are open bag except for Sylus, who throws Innova, but I know Jerimie Gates here throws a mix of Prodigy, Innova, and Trilogy.
Yeah, I believe this is a PA5 that he picked up. He watched me actually throw a few of these and really was interested in bagging it.
This is going to be an NV for Downey, who also throws a lot of Innova, but has some MVP and Axiom in the bag.
And you can't forget his own.
He does have one of those.
Sylus, I believe he putts with the Alpaca.
Yes.
And so, I mean, he really look for him to make this putt right here.
I mean, perfect line on that putt, but as you can see, that tree is perfectly placed to block that from making it to the basket, unfortunately.
Colin a little closer than I stated earlier. That's it in, no problem.
Absolutely easy birdie for him. I believe it's going to be an easy birdie as well for Mr. Ben Fulford. Everyone else kind of just looking to scramble their pars here.
Jerimie cleans it up, no problem there. Gets up and down, so the rest of these guys probably just tapping in, no problem.
Yeah, no one made that big mistake of going inside early and getting into jail. I mean, Downey was the closest one, but he still had a way to pitch out, and so no one taking any blemishes here.
Yeah, another thing you'll see on this is on the up shots, there is a downhill slope behind the basket, and you may see players tend to filter down and have a lengthy comeback putt.
Yeah, fortunately, our lead card able to avoid that today here, so pretty well handled hole. This is one of the tighter greens on the course as we head to another very technical hole.
Yeah, hole 5, you've got multiple options. You can throw a backhand hyzer for the righty or turnover shot. Colin elects to go around the outside with the backhand, which is not normally seen. Most players will go forehand around the left side.
It almost feels like if you're playing the backhand turnover outside, you're kind of just playing for par. But that's fair enough because if you get caught up early on this hole, it can be very hard to get up and down.
Ben plays a turnover shot down the middle. I guess he hit a tree. He didn't like it.
Yeah. By the way, this was my first time filming, so please spare me a little bit. So we had a couple instances where the players kind of blocked the shot, but we'll get there. As Gates looking to play that turnover as well and just leaks out a little early.
He seems like he overcorrected from the last hole. He yanked it, and so then he was trying not to, and early release there. So he'll have a very challenging upshot.
Just didn't quite have enough turn on that one. Almost found the line, as we are going to see Downey looking to go wide left as well here with the backhand turnover.
Yeah, on this hole, you definitely want to commit to whatever shot you're going with. It's a very tight gap no matter how you go. Right there, as Downey kind of fades out a little early, he'll have probably about a 40-foot downhill putt.
Yeah. You're usually laying up from up there, though, as it is very downhill, and you can get some nasty rollaways if you try to run that putt. Good little hyzer upshot here from Jerimie. Not the greatest kick, though, at the end.
Yeah, he needed just a little more power on that.
Ideal upshot here from Sylus.
Yeah, nothing crazy, just laying it up under the basket, moving on to the next hole.
So Ben does have a look here, but a lengthy one.
Yeah, Ben has range on the putt as well, as you'll see. He kind of leaks that one right, but he's known to make 70-plus feet putts.
I know he just recently switched putters as well. He had been putting the P2 for a while and now puts the PA3. Just a little tidbit there, as we can see, again, kind of that common layup play. Downey almost juiced it a little bit there, but
seemed like it was a little laggy run right there, just kind of laying it up, but maybe hyzering into the basket. Colin not trying anything at all.
This has been for par. And just a touch high. He's having a couple of issues on the putting green here. First couple of holes. I'm sure he'll have some time to correct that, though.
I mean, you got a 5-stroke lead right now, so you have a few to play with, but he definitely wants to try to replicate what he did the previous round.
Yeah, again, I would say the front 10 definitely more technical and harder to score on than the back 10. So you're really trying to just seize what opportunities you can, but try to keep the card clean at the very least. But unfortunately, Ben will be finding a bogey here. Everybody else kind of just cleaning up their pars. As we move on to probably one of the easier holes that you're going to see on the front 10 here on what I believe is hole C.
Yeah, another thing to note, the original course is under construction right now with the addition of baseball fields. So we have some temp holes in. We're skipping some numbers. Hole C though is just, you really just want to take an overstable fairway or mid and just throw a nice easy hyzer out there. And the only challenging part to this, you have out of bounds, but you also have the backstops behind the basket, which can make a tricky putt.
Absolutely. It's all about distance control on this, and as you said, just trying to avoid an obstructed putt. But so far, our first two players up to bat have done a great job of basically parking the basket.
Chris just hanging a Firebird out there. Looks like it skips right up to the basket, no problem.
Man, so far, everyone doing their job on this hole. And again, this is kind of, I don't want to say it's a gimme, but it's definitely one of the easier holes to score on this front 10, so I really want to grab it.
Been taking his time. Maybe the the next card is probably getting in his head, or the wind check maybe.
Yeah, I will say that the first round you played very, very calm conditions. Second round, there were a couple of moments of some gusty conditions that kind of threw you off a little bit.
That, and if you look at the sky, the rain seems to be coming in, so maybe some challenges to the second round.
Everyone kind of taking the same line. Gates going to come up a little bit short. That's Jerimie, so he's going to have a little bit of a longer birdie putt, but still kind of edge a circle.
Yeah, it should be no problem for him. Missing, though, would, if you go around the backstop, could be an issue as well.
Yeah, great putt there from Jerimie Gates. So potential star frame here.
Yep. Jerimie recovered from that bogey on the previous hole. No problem. Ben as well.
Yeah, Ben getting the putter going this time around, so it looks like it will be birds all around here as everyone else is pretty much in the bullseye. As we see Gibney in the background there, actually our tournament director there with the black sweatshirt, watching the lead card.
Yeah, shout out to Michael. He's ran this tournament for the last, I believe, 5 years, and doing a great job.
Especially considering the constraints that, we've kind of had with this property due to the baseball fields and construction. I feel like he's really done the best you could hope for. And everyone really seems to love this event every year. Everyone looks forward to it. And so far, we're having a great time here in our final round.
Yeah. So hole 6, one of the more challenging holes on the course. I believe it came in as the second toughest hole. A lot of players are throwing a big hyzer and hoping to hit a long putt. You'll have some players go up the middle, but it is more risk-reward going that way.
Yeah, it definitely plays as a very long par 3, and as you said, you can try to go up the gut to give you a skip for an easier chance at a birdie putt, but this wide outside play is definitely the safer play to still maybe give you a circle 2 putt, but keep you out of trouble.
Yeah, Sylus had the power probably to get all the way to the basket, but hit some limbs up high, displaying that young talent.
Speaking of having enough power to get there on the hyzer, Christopher Downey definitely one of the further throwers in the area.
Hanging it wide, skipping up, and if you look at that tree with the sign on it, that says 50 feet, so he should have a putt inside of that.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned he might have pushed that tree maybe too much. Like, he went pretty deep, so he could be obstructed. We'll see. And I know that Ben is known for liking to go up the gut, so we could see that here. We could see a change-up in strategy from the rest of the card.
Yeah, I played with him last year, and he went up the middle and got the 2, so he's still going with that play. Little low, but a great skip. He should be up there with Chris.
Yeah, I believe there are going to be neighbors based on what we saw there on those flights as Gates looking to play that wide hyzer play that you see in the rest of the card put to use.
And that is a really good play, especially with the wind that we have today.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was a metal flake turn from Jerimie.
I mean, as you can see, everyone has an open look at the basket, so at worst, everyone really is looking at par, but we actually do have some chances for birdie here, but they will be longer putts required.
Jerimie not really giving it a run. He probably didn't like it out of his hand. It seemed a little undercommitted.
Colin's a pretty nasty step putter, so definitely expect this to have a chance.
Yeah, that unfortunately that wasn't his typical run because he had that inside tree to contend with.
Another circle 2 birdie opportunity here. This time Sylus up to bat. Just a touch short.
And just like hole 4, there is a drop behind the basket that can leave you with a 25-foot par comeback putt.
Yeah, as I kind of feared, they actually wound up pushing a little too straight, and so they're really left with no option but to just pitch up and take a par here.
Yeah, Ben not having it at all. Didn't want to risk anything.
So it looks like we might be seeing the par frame this time around, which for this hole is totally fine.
Yeah, I don't believe anybody birdied it on the day. Coming in at 0.14 strokes over par, it was the second hardest hole. You'll see these guys just routine tap-ins.
Yeah, shouldn't be too much left. As I will say, filming, there was a light drizzle, but the rain never really got too heavy. So I would say it didn't have nearly as much of an impact as you would think, which was actually very nice for our players to not have to worry about that. Ooh.
Good basket for Gates. As I was told in my first round, though, there are no pictures on scorecards, but there are videos. So.
Yeah, there's footage now, buddy. So, you know, you don't get that benefit being on the lead card this time around. As we'll see everyone clean up and move on to another very tricky hole here on the front 10.
Yeah, so hole 7 plays uphill. It plays a little longer than the 236 you see on your screen. You just want to hit the gap with a right turning disc and hope to miss some trees, really. If you push it straight, you'll still have a putt, but mainly you want to turn the disc over.
Yeah, I would say, though, early right is probably the worst place to be. So if you overturn something too quickly, you could really find yourself in some trouble. But Sylus really doing it well.
Or if you don't turn it over at all and hit that tree that Sylus just missed, it can kick you down there as well. But, yeah, Sylus, great shot up the middle. Should have a long look for birdie.
Nice slow drift there from Downey as well. And really the issue is this green, by the way, is just so tightly packed. Even a great shot, you know, has the potential to just get unfortunate and catch a tree and leave yourself with not much at all.
Yeah, Chris's shot was going straight towards the basket, and I believe he thought he aced the hole at first, and then and unfortunately it was a tree. Ben, forehand. That's not a typical play you see, but maybe he feels more confident hitting the gap.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the big thing, is just being able to keep your eye on the target the whole time. And honestly, if you take something overstable and flex it, it has a chance to skip, you know, towards the basket and give yourself a putt. So, little overturned here from Gates, and he's going to kick left, and at least left's the more open place to be.
Yeah, in years past, this hole was a lot more wooded on the left side. So with them opening it up, it does make this hole easier, but still a tough hole.
Absolutely. Looks like he pitched up nicely, so should be able to get his par. Here's Downey for birdie, and just never really gave it a chance.
Yeah, it was a tough putt, having a hyzer around the tree. That's not typical for Chris. So he guns him in there, and that required some touch.
Oh, and just short from Sylus.
I think he thought it was in.
Yeah, he just caught the top of the basket, basically. As this is Colin for birdie, I believe, and he'll be able to sink it.
You can hear that wind picking up.
Absolutely.
Fortunately, though, 7 does start a 7-hole stretch of wooded holes, so the wind may not be as much of a factor.
This is going to be Ben for birdie as well. So starting to catch fire after a couple of early putting woes, I guess you could say. Definitely making it very hard for anyone to catch him.
When you get in the woods, though, anything can happen, especially on hole 8. Hole 8, we're in the long pin. If you've seen the fairways of Fairhope course, this played as the toughest hole on the course. What players are trying to do is just throw a hyzer flip up and then hit the gap probably about 250 foot down the fairway. It's a really tough shot.
Absolutely. Short pin position, very manageable, just like a straight shot or a slot turnover. But this one, there's a couple of key trees that even if you hit the gap perfectly, they can really just knock you offline. But to be fair, Ben did kind of pull that one right, just a touch.
Also, in years past, there was no Mando on this hole, and that's been added, 1, to prevent players from throwing into the baseball field, but 2, to make the hole way more challenging.
As if it wasn't challenging enough.
Sylus throwing a star rock here. Little too overstable for the shot, but he should have pretty easy up and down for 3.
Downey kind of just throwing that one a little nose up and yanking it right just a touch. Not sure what kind of lie he's going to have to scramble with, as it's very hard to even scramble for par on this hole if you get caught up early.
Yeah, the gap you're trying to hit is only like 10 foot wide, and like I said, it's 250 feet down the fairway, so.
Just that headwind catching that disc from Jerimie there, so he's going to get pulled way right. Would have parked the short pin position, though.
Oh, yeah.
As you can see, it's a minefield trying to get to the basket from where these players are at right now. Lots of trees you can catch.
And just trying to touch a hyzer down. Fortunately catches a tree.
I think you're going to be saying that statement a lot on this hole, JC.
Sylus is trying to pick a gap here. I believe he's going around the outside as well. Oh, no, he called me a liar.
And he hit the thinnest tree of them all. As Colin Forehand here going to have to use his namesake throw to try to get out of this trouble. Coming to a knee and straddling way out. Just didn't get enough height on that.
Yeah, Colin not typically known to throw the forehand, ironically.
I about to say that's unfortunate with that last name. Oh, and just a slight error there from Downey. That's going to hurt. Might be seeing some bogeys on this one. This is Gates trying to get up and down for par. Jerimie Gates, that is. I keep calling people by that last name. My mistake. Oh.
That's going to be rough.
Yeah, I don't see much of a putt coming out of those bushes, as this is Ben trying to save par from distance. He was very happy with that putt.
Yeah, you can see a little frustration from him, not even really giving it a chance.
Oh, Chris did give that one a chance, just not quite enough push on it. Definitely the right line, though. As we can see, Sylus here, very obstructed.
Very similar distance to Chris. And similar result as well.
Yeah, just a touch low. That's been kind of his miss so far today. He's been accurate, just not quite getting enough pop on it.
Maybe some lead card jitters. He's still battling it out with the other card mates.
Oh, what a putt from Colin, though. Really well done. As we are going to see, this is actually Jerimie Gates doing his best Bear Grylls impression. And all he had was a turbo and nearly sunk it.
rest of these guys will look to clean up their bogey here.
Yeah, this hole did play .36 strokes over par. It was the hardest hole in the course, as you had already mentioned earlier. Only 3 birdies on the day. I believe we had, I feel, of 25-ish players or so.
28, I believe.
Right. So, yeah, not many birdies to be had here on hole number 8, but not surprising. As we head into a hopefully simpler hole for our card here on hole 9.
Yeah, on this hole, you want to just take an overstable mid or fairway and just throw it through the gap, let it just do the work, maybe skip up towards the basket.
Yeah, I realize this is not the best camera angle, but this is the best I could do. But, yeah, just that center gap, if you can hit that on hyzer, usually you can skip up to the green, and Ben's done a pretty good job there. Sylus executing also really well.
Yeah, most of these guys, this should be a routine shot. This hole was probably one of the easiest on the course.
Ooh, that was a little inside from Downey, but he actually does still sneak through. I think the big thing with this hole is you never quite know what ground action you're going to get, and so you could still be left with a lengthy putt even if you hit the gap on the angle you want.
Jerimie pushing it a little wide, but should still have a look.
Yes, it looks like Downey actually did get caught up a little bit early here, so he is putting from circle 2. Just a touch high.
This basket is a little shorter than the rest of the one that's on the course, so.
It's like 6 on red.
Apparently, this is Downey's nemesis, as he was saying. I think he said he hasn't birdied this hole the last 3 times he's played it, or 3 tournaments he's played it.
Sylus getting a little loose. Unfortunately, not loose enough.
Yeah, just catches the left-hand side. So a couple of missed chances there, but we got 3 more players up to bat for birdie here. With Jerimie. And he's going to touch high as well. And, man, this hole is giving them a lot more trouble than I thought it would. So we're going to see 3 pars here, I think, between Chris, Jerimie, and Sylus, though I believe Ben and Colin are in great position to birdie.
Yeah, they still haven't putted yet, and Sylus should only have like a 15-foot, 20-foot putt.
Yeah, so the pars have been cleaned up, and now we're just looking to catch a couple of birdies here from Ben and Colin. And, well, just a couple more holes left here on the front 10. So we appreciate you all tuning in. Be sure to follow and subscribe as we got back 10 coming at you as well as we get into another tough hole here on hole number 10.
Yeah, this one's one of those tight corridor shots. You really just want to flip up a mid-range, maybe have some turn out of it before it comes back. Colin doesn't quite get the turn, but gets a great roll.
I mean, that thing just got the greatest tree love you could hope for. There is a wide left option that you can see way out there at the other tee pad, but that is basically a par play on the long pin.
Yeah, you have to really get lucky through the trees, as Ben does here with the down the middle shot. He should have a lengthy look, I would believe.
Yeah. As there is a short pin position that Ams played the day before, and that wide left route I was talking about is a lot more viable for that position, but not really for this one. As that leaks a little bit left for Sylus.
Yeah, none of these players seem to be committing to the shot right now. Chris, he would probably commit with this rock. He's very confident.
It was like he slipped on the tee pad a little bit there, so kind of came out early, but got a kick to the right-hand side of the fairway. Oh, beautiful shot from Jerimie. It's tracking. just fades out.
Yeah, those trees that he just passed are probably about 50 foot from the basket, so anything that gets past those with good height, probably inside the circle.
Good upshot there from Downey to make sure he can salvage his par. Got a long birdie bid here for Sylus. Man, he has been all over that basket today.
Yeah, he's a young gun. He's going to run anything and everything.
This is bid for birdie after a great tee shot. Oh, just a little left.
Those are probably 50-50 if they're going to stick or not. Fortunately, he's on the wrong end of that.
Yep, so a par for Downey. We're going to see a par for Ben and Sylus. Meanwhile, though, Colin Forehand and Jerimie Gates here have a chance for birdie.
That little bit of rough there was no problem for Jerimie. He taps in the 2.
And Colin Forehand basically parked for his 2. And,
man, what a roll.
I mean, fantastic stuff. And, I mean, he has to put it on, right? He's 3 strokes behind Ben right now. This will put him 2 behind with still a lot to play. So, all of a sudden, Ben's lead is starting to shrink a little bit. Colin Forehand making a push.
Yeah, you would expect this card to actually be shooting a little better. A little bit of putting woes. You see him not really getting off the tee. So, as we move into hole 11, originally the play was only a hyzer, but this is opened up to the left, given this turnover shot a way higher percentage.
Yeah, you definitely will see like a pretty equal split, I feel like, on this hole on people who decide to go the gap, just up the middle hyzer skip shot, or the backhand turnover left or the forehand left, as Gates is definitely looking to just go up this tunnel here with the hyzer.
Yeah, traditionally this was the play, so he may, feel that he can just routinely throw a hyzer. Unfortunately, gets a bad kick off the root bed.
Man, this has been Fulford going for the forehand I was referring to here to the left side, but definitely there's a couple of tight gaps you're going to have to try to fit through to make this work.
Yeah, I would elect for the backhand more, just because you can turn it over and have it come flat. He goes wider than I expected, though, and plays a nice skip up to the about 30-foot right.
Yeah, putting that steep on a hyzer angle makes it a bit skinnier and gives it a better chance to get through the gap, and he executes it well, as we are going to see Sylus going for that skip shot, that more traditional route. And just pulls it.
It is a very tight gap. It
Absolutely.
may not look like it. It may look like the gap on the left is narrower, but that right gap is very intimidating.
And Chris catching all kinds of wilderness on his way to the basket there, so he's going to be coming up short. Great tree kick there for Sylus.
Yeah, he juiced it a little bit, but very fortunate to have the disc kick the basket.
And oh man, Chris Downey hitting the putt from long range. Really well done.
Chris is just known for that, though. He hits them from 70, 80 feet all the time.
Let's watch that one again, actually, in slow-mo. He was walking it in. He knew that thing was going in. And that's going to be a big boost for him, I imagine.
Again,
And that's a rare miss.
Yeah, again, Colin's more of a straight-on putter, trying to go around the tree. Typically not his play. And Jerimie here playing the traditional route well, but coming a little short on the putt. You hate to see it.
You do. You really do. As we are going to see Sylus here trying to just go ahead and at least scrape up the par, and he'll do just that. Colin will be saving par as well, but he will be losing a stroke to Ben likely, as Ben is in a very great position to grab birdie here. You can see his red disc there just maybe 15 feet away. So that will create a little bit more separation for Ben to 3 strokes going into the back 10, as long as he can execute this putt.
He does.
Indeed, he does. So that is going to wrap it up here for our front 10. Take a look at the scores for our lead card. Ben, 3 under on the front. 3-stroke lead now. Colin, though, marching nicely with 6 under through the front 10. That's a great score to have. Some of those technical holes. And, folks, we definitely appreciate all of you for tuning in to the coverage. Be sure to follow and subscribe so you can catch the back 10 and other content here at Dustin Disc. I'm Dustin, and with me has been JC, and we'll see you soon.